Speaking of big players, obviously, Frank, all eyes are on Erling Haaland ahead of this game. We've asked a lot on this show, how do you stop him? Did Rudiger give us a good indication about how you could actually keep Haaland out of the game today?
That's a good indication for some people who can have the tools that Rudiger has. Last time we talked about Haaland, and I say, well, I think the worst thing is to stick to him and to be too close to him. But Rudiger showed today by sticking to him, by being very close to him, you can be successful against Haaland. But it's only few players who can do that well as Rudiger did today, because most of the time the guy is going to turn around you because he's stronger than you, and it's going to be so powerful that you can cope with that. But Rudiger is a kind of player who can deal with that, and he did very well today. And the question was asked by Craig, you know, what would be the decision for Carlo Ancelotti? Because the way Rudiger mastered his defensive aspect of this game today, let me think that he should play next week, because I'm not sure that Militao can cope with Haaland as Rudiger did. But it's going to be another game. He's going to be away from home. He might play differently. Haaland might be served more in a more dangerous situation. So, well, it's up to Mr. Ancelotti. But Rudiger did well, and Haaland didn't do well because of him and because also of the covering of Alaba.
But if you're sitting deep as a team, and that's what Real Madrid did for a lot of it, it's easier to get tight as a centre-half.
OK.
Because you've got less space between your full-backs and your midfield. Now, this is going to be the same in the second leg for Erling Haaland, and they're going to have to figure it out that maybe only once or twice he had 30 or 40 yards to run in behind. The most of the time, there was no space, and City were probing and prodding. And, you know, they got so much space down the right-hand side, Man City in the first half an hour. They didn't make the most of it, because Vinicius Jr. was not tracking back, right? And down that right-hand side, Stones was stepping into midfield, and Walker and Silva were getting down that flank for fun. And Camavinga was getting outnumbered, but they didn't take advantage of that space they had in that first half. And that's what they're going to have to figure out, because Erling Haaland and Real Madrid, it's the same game at Man City, maybe even worse. Edge of the box, sitting deep, not giving any space away, looking for the counter. So City's wide play, their crossing, and their speed of passing is going to have to be better. Otherwise, it's going to be equally as difficult to break this side down.
For a little bit of context here, Eder Militao, in my opinion, has been the second best defender in La Liga throughout the course of the year, behind only Ronald Araujo, who has been outstanding for Barcelona. So Eder Militao will play.
So could you have Militao and Rudiger?
Nope, because Militao needs somebody to hold his hand, and that's what Alaba brings to this team. Alaba will organize, Militao will provide the physicality, the same sort of physicality that Rudiger provided today, Militao has done over the course of the season. So if he's healthy, which he is, and obviously comes back from suspension, he's going to play. In terms of what we saw from Manchester City today, and to the point that Craig was making, that they didn't take advantage of that right-hand side as much as they should have, it was a similar approach than we saw from Manchester City against Leipzig. When the game away from home, it was 1-1, and it felt like there's an opportunity here for Manchester City to get after Leipzig. It was the approach of Pep Guardiola to actually get conservative and to not make any substitutions and not change any sort of dynamics on the field. To say, you know what, we're going to stay with these guys. They have this under control. We'll take the 1-1 and we'll go home. So it's a trend now in this version of Champions League in terms of the decision-making or lack thereof from Pep Guardiola. I don't need to make any changes. I'll take the 1-1. We're not going to take chances going in the attack. If you notice, for the last 5 or 10 minutes, whenever Manchester City had a chance to get forward, it wasn't a bunch of numbers getting forward. It was Erling Haaland and Kevin De Bruyne. And so while we can point at the inefficiency or ineffectiveness of Erling Haaland, we also have to say, for about 65, from the 65th minute on, there was, I think, a decision made from Pep Guardiola tactically. We're not going to take any chances. We're not going to get in a back and forth with this team if we don't have to. We'll take 1-1 and take it home.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN+.